The two of us. My name is Sarah. I'm 32 years old. I have a twin sister, Emily. We were two halves of the same whole, always connected, always there for each other. We shared everything, clothes, secrets, dreams. Emily was my rock, my confidant, my other half. I never imagined a world where we wouldn't be the closest people on earth. How could I? We were practically the same person. I met Jack at a friend's wedding. Emily, of course, was my plus one. He was charming, funny, and seemed instantly smitten with both of us. But as time went on, it became clear that his affections were shifting towards me. Emily encouraged it, always the selfless one, always putting my happiness before her own. I fell deeply in love with Jack. He proposed a year later. Emily was ecstatic, already planning the most magical bridesmaid speech. We were a perfect trio. Cracks in the foundation. Looking back, there were signs. Small, almost imperceptible cracks in the foundation of our perfect life. Jack became distant. He worked late, often missing dinner. His phone would buzz at odd hours, and he'd quickly silence it, hiding the screen from my view. He was withdrawn, lost in his own thoughts. I tried talking to Emily about it. She dismissed my concerns, telling me I was being paranoid. "It's just stress," she'd say, her voice soothing and reassuring. "He loves you, Sarah. Don't let silly things get to you." I wanted to believe her. I clung to her words like a lifeline, desperate to ignore the nagging feeling in my gut. But the doubt lingered, a dark cloud hanging over my marriage. The revelation. It happened on our anniversary. A day that was supposed to be filled with joy and celebration. We were supposed to go out for dinner, just the two of us. A special night to commemorate our love and the years we had spent together. Jack called at the last minute, his voice strained, saying he had to work late. I was crushed. I'd been looking forward to this night for weeks, planning every detail meticulously. I called Emily, needing someone to talk to. She had always been my confidant, the one I turned to in times of need. She answered on the first ring, her voice unusually high-pitched. It was unlike her, and it immediately set off alarm bells in my mind. "Hey, are you okay?" she asked. "Jack just called." Her words were rushed, almost as if she was trying to cover something up. "He has to work late," I said, my voice flat. I could feel the disappointment seeping into my bones. "Oh no," Emily said, her voice laced with what sounded like panic. It was subtle, but it was there. A hint of something more. "I have to go, Sarah," she said quickly, hanging up before I could respond. The abruptness of her departure left me reeling. I hung up, a knot of suspicion tightening in my stomach. Something was wrong. Very wrong. I could feel it in my gut. I grabbed my keys and drove to Jack's office, a sense of dread washing over me. The streets were dark and empty, mirroring the emptiness I felt inside. When I got there, the lights were off, except for one office. Jack's office, the only beacon of light in the otherwise dark building. And through the frosted glass door I saw two figures, their silhouettes intertwined. My heart sank as realization dawned on me. Emily and Jack, my husband, and my sister. The betrayal cut deep, leaving me standing there, frozen in shock and disbelief. The world stopped. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. All I could see were their shadows, moving together in a way that made my stomach churn. I threw open the door, the sound echoing in the silence. They sprang apart, their faces pale, their eyes wide with guilt and fear. "Sarah," Jack started, his voice a strangled whisper. I didn't let him finish. "How could you?" I screamed, my voice raw with pain and betrayal. The words ripped through me, tearing at my insides. Emily tried to speak, but I held up my hand, silencing her. "Don't!" I spat. "Just don't!" I turned and ran, the sound of their apologies chasing me down the hallway. I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to hear anything they had to say. Picking up the pieces. The days that followed were a blur of pain and anger. Each morning I woke up hoping it was all just a nightmare, only to be hit by the harsh reality all over again. The betrayal felt like a fresh wound that refused to heal. I moved out of our house, the place that held so many happy memories now tainted with betrayal. Every corner of that house echoed with laughter and love that now felt like a cruel joke. Friends and family reached out, offering words of comfort and support, but their words felt hollow, meaningless. They tried to console me, but how could they possibly understand the depth of my pain? Their well-meaning gestures only served to remind me of my isolation. How could they possibly understand the depth of my pain? The nights were the hardest. Alone in the dark, the silence was deafening, and the memories were relentless. I felt like I was drowning in a sea of sorrow with no lifeline in sight. The two people I loved most in the world, the two people I trusted implicitly, had shattered my heart into a million pieces. I couldn't comprehend how they could do this to me, how they could destroy everything we had built together. I threw myself into work, trying to numb the pain. I thought if I kept myself busy enough, I wouldn't have time to think about the betrayal. But no matter how hard I worked, the pain was always there, lurking in the background. I avoided social gatherings, afraid of the pitying looks and whispered gossip. I couldn't bear the thought of people talking about me, about us. I felt like a spectacle, a tragic story for others to dissect and discuss. I barely slept, haunted by nightmares of betrayal and heartbreak. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw their faces, heard their voices. Sleep offered no escape, only more torment. The life I had built, the future I had envisioned, lay in ruins at my feet. Everything I'd worked for, everything I had dreamed of, was gone. I felt like I was standing in the wreckage of my own life, unsure of how to move forward. And through it all, the one person I needed, the one person who could possibly understand, was the very person who had inflicted this pain upon me. The irony was cruel, and the loneliness was suffocating. I was left to pick up the pieces of my shattered heart, alone. A sister's betrayal. The betrayal cut deeper because it came from both sides. My husband, the man who vowed to love and cherish me, had broken his vows in the most devastating way possible. But it was my sister's betrayal that truly shattered me. Emily, my other half, my confidant, my best friend, had been complicit in this deception. She had known, I realized with a sickening certainty, she had known all along. The thought of her knowing, of her smiling at me with those knowing eyes while harboring this secret, sent waves of nausea through me. How could she? How could she betray me like this? The questions echoed in my mind, unanswered and agonizing. The pain was so profound, so all-consuming that I feared it would swallow me whole. Healing and hope. These two words carry immense weight and promise. Healing from such a betrayal is a long and arduous journey. It's a path filled with ups and downs, moments of clarity, and times of confusion. There are days when the pain is so raw, so fresh, that it feels like it happened yesterday. The memories flood back, uninvited, and the tears flow freely. There are moments when the anger threatens to consume me, to turn me into someone I don't recognize. The rage is overwhelming, and it feels like it will never end. But slowly, gradually, I am learning to navigate this new reality. I am finding ways to cope, to heal, to move forward. I'm learning to forgive, not for them, but for me. Forgiveness is a gift I give myself, a way to release the hold the past has on me. I'm learning to let go of the anger and the bitterness, to make space for healing and peace. It's a process and it takes time, but it's worth it. I am learning to trust again, to open my heart to the possibility of love, to believe that I am worthy of happiness. Trust is fragile, but it can be rebuilt. It's a daily struggle, a constant battle against the demons of doubt and despair. But I am fighting. I am surviving. Each day is a victory, a step closer to wholeness. And one day, I know I will thrive. I will look back on this journey and see how far I've come, and I will be proud of my strength and resilience. Finding strength. This experience, as painful as it has been, has taught me the importance of self-love and resilience. It has shown me the strength I never knew I possessed. It has reminded me that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope. If you're reading this and you've experienced a similar betrayal, please know that you are not alone. You are stronger than you think. You are worthy of love and happiness. Don't let the actions of others define you or your worth. Reach out for support. Allow yourself to grieve, and never give up on the possibility of a brighter tomorrow. The path to healing may be long and winding, but with each step forward, you are reclaiming your life and your happiness. And that, my friend, is the greatest victory of all, elitist.